So maybe you're thinking about a future in law enforcement, want to aim for the top spot, like police commissioner.
It's pretty ambitious.
It is, right.
Yeah.
And to get there, we're taking a deep dive with RoleCatcher. They're a career development platform. Sort of lay out a roadmap, you know?
Yeah, what's fascinating is they don't just focus on, like, being a good cop. It's broader than that.
Oh, way broader.
It's leadership, it's how you talk to people, almost like you need some psychology in there, too.
You're not just, like, patrolling the streets at that point.
Right, completely different skill set.
RoleCatcher really paints the police commissioner as responsible for everything. Budgets, resources, dealing with City Hall.
Well, and the public. Don't forget that.
Right. Well, they call it public relations, but it's more than that.
Way more, especially during a crisis. You're the face of the department then.
High pressure.
Absolutely.
But you don't just wake up one day and bam, you're the commissioner.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher lays out this progression.
Yeah, it's like climbing the ranks. Patrol officer first, then sergeant, lieutenant, all the way up.
And what I found helpful was how they give these profiles for each level.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
smart.
you can see, like, okay, a captain usually has this much experience, these kinds of qualifications.
Yeah, it gives you a target to aim for, like having mentors from each stage, but all at once.
Exactly. And speaking of guidance, they're big on continuous learning. Can't just coast once you're a captain. You know?
Right. Got to keep pushing. Advanced degrees, certifications, staying on top of trends. They even list specific ones.
So it's always evolving, like any profession, I guess.
And here's where it gets really interesting. They talk about AI being used more and more in hiring.
AI for police work.
Yeah, it's not just who you know anymore. It's how well your skills match what they're looking for. And AI is scanning for that.
Wow, so what does that even mean? Like, are we talking algorithms looking at resumes?
Exactly. RoleCatcher calls it the easy apply trap. People just submitting the same resume everywhere, not tailoring it.
Ah, so you can't just be a good officer. You have to know how to sell yourself, too.
Kind of, yeah. It's like, you've got to be bilingual now, fluent in police work, A&D, how to talk to these algorithms.
So how do you do that?
Well, that's where RoleCatcher's AI tools come in. They analyze job descriptions, pick out key skills, even suggest how to reword your resume.
Wait, so it's like having a digital advisor or something.
Basically, leveraging technology to navigate all this, it's becoming essential for aspiring commissioners. And it's not just the tech stuff, right? The whole public image thing.
Oh, huge EE. RoleCatcher talks about this balance you need.
Huge, especially lately, yeah.
Between keeping law and order, but also having the community trust you.
Exactly. It's like you're the bridge between the department and the people they're serving.
Which is a tough job right now, with everything that's been going on.
It is. It's a lot of pressure. And they give some cool examples of how commissioners are handling it.
Oh, like what?
Well, one that stuck with me was this program officers would mentor at-risk youth.
With local businesses, right? I think I read about that.
Yeah. So it's not just, we're the cops, stay out of trouble. It's more involved.
Building relationships early on.
Exactly. Breaks down barriers. RoleCatcher said it was really effective for that.
Makes you think. It's almost like changing the image of policing, right? From reactive to, I don't know, more positive.
Totally. And they talked about social media, too, how some departments are using that.
To be more open.
Yeah, like sharing info on crime prevention, getting feedback from people, even just answering questions.
Directly. Wow. So it's like always on, kind of.
In a way, yeah. Transparency is the word they used a lot. But it's tricky, balancing that with,
With the tough stuff.
Exactly. RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from that. Officer misconduct, those allegations, that falls on the commissioner, too.
Right. You're responsible for the whole department.
The buck stops there, yeah. They had this case study, fascinating, this commissioner, huge scandal hits.
Corruption, wasn't it?
Yeah, and she could have brushed it under the rug, but no. Independent investigation, the whole 9 yards.
Gutsy move.
It is, especially with pressure from inside A&D, outside the force. Makes you wonder, what kind of person can handle that job?
For real.
RoleCatcher talks about integrity, obviously, but also being able to bounce back from setbacks, strong moral compass.
Because you're making tough calls constantly?
Right, and they said, don't underestimate having a good team around you.
Oh, to advise you, right. People you trust.
Yeah, because you can't be an expert on everything. Having those different viewpoints is crucial.
It's almost like you're the conductor of an orchestra, not just one instrument.
That's a good way to put it. And even seeking out mentors, not just within the force.
Learning from other fields, too.
They stress that, yeah. Conferences, organizations, even just reaching out to people you admire, picking their brains.
So it's this constant learning curve, even at the top.
Totally, never stops. The world's changing, technology's changing, the job changes with it.
And you have to keep up.
Exactly. And having those connections, people you can turn to for advice, support, RoleCatcher said that's a lifeline almost.
Makes sense. It's a heavy crown to wear, that commissioner's badge. It's like you're not just fighting crime, you're trying to shape how the whole department does it.
Right, exactly. RoleCatcher was big on this, building a culture, not just following the rules, but like how you do it.
From the inside out, basically.
Yeah. Transparency, always improving, holding people accountable, but fairly.
Because every officer reflects on the commissioner, in a way.
100%. Like, you set the tone for the whole department, how they treat people, how they see themselves.
Wow, yeah. That's a lot of weight on your shoulders.
It is, and they had these cool examples of programs, really forward-thinking stuff.
Oh, look what.
Well, a lot of it was about, like, understanding people better, implicit bias training, how to de-escalate situations.
Oh, right. Instead of it always going straight to force.
Exactly. Even mindfulness stuff, to handle stress better, make good decisions under pressure.
So it's almost like police work is catching up to the rest of the world, being more aware of social stuff, how people tick.
Totally. And RoleCatcher said a lot of commissioners are realizing, got to challenge the old ways of thinking, get different perspectives in the room.
Which is probably hard, right?
Yeah.
In a job that's always been about, I'm in charge, listen up.
Oh, for sure. They said, good commissioners seek out criticism. Find people they trust to tell them straight, even if it stings a little.
Takes a secure ego, I'd imagine.
It does. And they said, never stop learning. Mentors, groups, constantly reading up on stuff. You're never really done.
Always a student, even at the top.
100%. And building that network inside and outside law enforcement.
So you have people to bounce ideas off of, get support.
It's essential, RoleCatcher said. It's too big a job to go it alone.
Man, it really does seem like becoming police commissioner isn't the finish line. It's like the race never really ends.
That's a great way to put it. It's a journey. And it takes a special kind of person to commit to that,
They do. Strong, compassionate, always learning, always leading, big shoes to fill.
They are. But if this deep dive taught us anything, it's that those qualities, that dedication, it matters. Makes a real difference.
Absolutely. To the officers they lead, the communities they serve, it's inspiring, honestly. Gives you hope.
It does.
Well, that's about all the time we have for this deep dive. To everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Keep asking those tough questions, keep learning, and who knows, maybe one of you will be wearing that commissioner's badge someday. Until next time.